Hey guys, it's Chris here from Chris's Creative Life, and I design workshops that help you create beautiful projects from start to finish with easy to follow guides. And today I'm here to talk to you about one of the resources that I'm not really sure why I had a hard time with that word today all of a sudden. This is a color swatching chart that I have. If you want to download it and use it, if you comment sheet, I'll come back and I'll add the link. I'm going to put you down on my desk so you can see everything a little bit bigger and you're not just looking at me. I'm going to show you a different way that I use it than the way that I showed you last week. Okay, that's better. Hey guys, happy Thursday. It is Thursday. This is like such a weird week for me, but it is Thursday. So yes, and I made it here and all is good. So last week I showed you my swatching sheet. So this is mine. I keep it like in one of those like plastic page protectors. And I actually store it literally right on top of my markers. I brought all my markers over here today just so that you guys, they're close. And I don't actually know what markers I'm going to use today. So I just had to put them up on my markers. But this is, so there's a downloadable version. If you comment sheet, I'll come back and I'll add the link so you can go and grab it for yourself. I printed on cardstock. And then basically what you can do is, because all the tri-blend markers have like 3 different shades built in them, which is like amazing. It makes like coloring and color guessing like so much less. So last week I showed you just like why I have it, how I use it, and now I'm going to show you kind of a reverse way that I'm going to use it. But so you can see here there's a light, a mid, and a dark tone for each marker. So that's how you can color on the sheet. So like I said, print it on cardstock because that's how you'll be coloring, right? So you want it to be true as to how you'll be coloring. So this is light, mid, and dark tan blend, for example. So, and I do store my markers in the same order that they're on the sheet, just so that when I'm looking for a color, like let's say I want blue turquoise blend, then I know it is like the 3rd row down and 5 over. So I'm going to show you my trays here. Hopefully they're not going to dump all over the place, and it's not a great angle to show you, but you can see here. So I store them exactly the same way, and I know it's not going to focus. It's just because of the weird angle, but they're just trays. And so then I store them in the order that they're on my sheet, right? So I have 10 shades, etc., etc. So then when I'm looking for a color, I know exactly where to find it in my trays. I just find that helpful. It makes it a little bit quicker if I'm like coloring on the fly and I need to just like grab markers and stuff. So like I said, I'll come back and add the links after. I'm just going to move this up here. So I thought today I would grab a few things and we're going to color. So this is what the sheet looks like once you download. Like I said, I would print it out on cardstock because that's how you're going to be coloring. So I grabbed the cards from the Life's a Hoot card making workshop, and we're going to switch them up a little bit. And this would be the other way that I would use the sheet, kind of like in reverse when I'm looking for things to coordinate or what colors to pick, that kind of thing. Yes, Lori said she filled it with the markers you have. So that's perfect too, right? Like, so it's very then easy to keep track of the markers you already have and where you might want to fill in. So like if you find, oh, I don't have enough in the pink range, then at least you know what you have and what to add going forward, kind of thing. So if you have seen the Life's a Hoot card making workshop. It's actually the technique, like the feature technique, because there's always like a feature technique, is adding color with watercolor pencils. So I did a set with watercolor pencils. Today I'm going to do a set with markers. So this is the other way that I use it. So for like designing in reverse, I'm also going to switch out the stamp sets. So when I'm looking for colors that coordinate with things, or I think I want to use, you guys saw how like quite often when I have a new stamp set, I make a coloring sheet. Somebody did ask the question, and I couldn't find the comment after. Somebody asked, when I create a coloring sheet, let me see if I have it right here, if I then later cut it up. So this is the coloring sheet like I showed you last week. And no, I don't. So I keep them in a binder all together. And quite often I'll go back to them. So I haven't finished this one yet even, right? Because I'll go and I'll color the kangaroo and the koala and the other hedgehogs. And I might try different mediums, not necessarily just my tri-blends. That's just as far as I got on the sheet today, the other week. But I keep these then like in a binder together so I can go back and reference them again. I keep them because then I can see and repeat like color combinations, ways that I like things. Hey, Cass. Ways that I like things colored. So like on here next, I would probably go and color them in also with my watercolor pencil crayons, right? So did I like that? Or the tri-blends, or like next time we have like a super cute character stamp set, I would pull it back, like I'll pull my binder out and I flip through them. And quite often, I'll be super honest, when I'm looking for inspiration for doing something else, I will pull that binder back out and leaf through it and like look for things that I liked, ways that I liked coloring certain things, a different kind of technique that maybe I played with on something. So yes, and you don't have to do it as big as this either, right? Like I do this because I refer to it a lot, this big, but even if you just used half of it for your stamp set, then you also get like a visual of the sentiments that it has on there and that kind of thing. It's also sometimes hard to gauge when a stamp is on here, right? Oh, well, how is that sentiment actually going to look on a card? Versus you can actually see it here. You can measure it if you want to know the size that, like, let's say you needed to cut out a sentiment strip or something to add to the card. You would know what size it would be because you could very easily visually measure it, or like, it's just easier to determine a size, I would say. Okay, so I'll put that back down beside me. I'm going to use this though. So I thought too, because I already have one set of the originals done, I thought it would be fun to switch the coloring on them. So I'm going to use my coloring sheet to pick colors. And then I switched the stamp set. So for Stamptacular sale that's on right now, there's a series of stamps that are like special releases for Stamptacular. So this is one of the ones included in the bundle, and it's called Sending Paper Hugs, and it's CC3230. So I thought I'll just switch out the sentiments for ones from that stamp set. So I just really quickly stamped them this morning, and now we're going to color some different images and put the cards together. So like I said, this is the original, and now I'm going to swap it out for something different. So I always, when I cut up the card kits, I will typically put one set together or two. It kind of just depends on what I'm doing at the time. And then I put the other pieces in an envelope with the card number on it. I need card faces. I'm just going to turn around. So that when I have more time, I can come back and put more together, or if I wanted to do like a different technique on one, then I can pull out of the envelope. Okay, so for this card, I need a purple piece. I need one of the little curlicues, which is the thin cut, which is very cute. I need a mat. I need the other decorative piece of paper. And then I need the 2 butterflies. So you could see on this one, right, that the butterfly is the focal point on this card. And then they have the sentiment over here. Because my sentiment was big, right? So I've got this one. I stamped Hello Friend in sapphire. I am going to switch up the card just a little bit. Let's see my butterflies though, so we can color them. So there is, and I did all the pre-stamping and all the thin cutting beforehand. Like I do it all at the same time. Okay. So then I have a card base. So I'm going to put it together and we're going to make it just slightly different. And I'm going to pull over my chart and pick colors. So this is the other way I use it, right? So in reverse, because these are now the true colors that your markers are going to color on cardstock, right? So I can look at them and say, you can also blend colors to like exactly color match too, but I'm not worrying. I want this like a quick and easy project, right? I'm not worrying about on this little image exactly matching the glacier color. So I'm just going to kind of go for close, and I'll go aqua blue blend. I'm going to pull that out, and then there's 2 different colors of purple, and so actually there's 2 different shades of purple, and this is actually like a bluish color. So I actually think I'm going to pull out true blue shades also, and then I'm going to pull out pink, pale pink shades. So I'll do like the lightest color here and the lightest color here, and then I need to just decide on a purple that I'm going to pull out. And I think actually I might go a little bit lighter. So I'm going to go with the pink violet blend probably. So we're going to try these colors. But see, you can then take whatever project you have and kind of go backwards to it. Okay, so my card base. And I need some adhesive. So I'll put my card together, and then we're going to quickly color. This would also look really nice if we did like ink blending in the background to blend it in. I didn't grab a brush, but I maybe could. I thought, like I said, I thought I would just come on and I'll do just a few of them just to show you. Okay, so then I'm going to color my butterfly a little bit, and I'm going to try and decide if we should ink blend. So I'm going to just do some really quick, and so always make sure, because your tri-blends go through, right? So you want to make sure you have something underneath. And I'm going to put a dark color so you guys can actually see what I'm doing. So, and they don't even have to be the same, like same pattern as the ones from the workshop. You could just have fun with it. These butterflies would also look super awesome with shimmer brush on them. you could actually even color them with shimmer brush if you wanted, right? You could pick out the colors that coordinate because we've got so many colors. Or you could just use your tri-blends and then or your pencil crayons and then add clear shimmer brush on top. That's always a super neat technique with watercolor pencil crayons, adding shimmer brush on top. It kind of gives it a super neat, because you actually get like the watercolor effect with a little bit of shimmer. So this one is the pale pink shades. And like I said, I'm just like really quickly coloring them. And I'm going to do that for the detail, I think. So this one is the aqua blue blend. And so if I also would, because I'm coloring a workshop with different colors, right? Like a different medium, I mean, than original. After this, I will take my workshop and make notes on it here too, so that I remember, oh, I liked these colors with the workshop when I colored it with tri-blends, right? So just so that I remember, oh, I want to try that again, or if you wanted to pick different colors next time. Okay. And blue shades, I'm going to do the lightest, and I'm just going to do the little dots here and the stripes. See, like so and it's a completely different look, but they're both super cute, right? So let's do the little guy. I also find it good too, because I do for sure have certain colors that are my favorite colors. And so it does kind of make me look at other colors when I bring it over and put them like close to my project. Because sometimes it's also not the color I necessarily would have thought that would go with it. Okay. So let me grab, I'm going to just do a little brush blending in the background there, I think. Oh, sorry. So I stamped it with sapphire ink, but so let's do, you know what, I'm going to glue the little squiggly down because it's going to take a few seconds for my liquid glass to dry. So we're going to do that while I do a little bit of ink blending in the background. And too, right, like just because a workshop is designed some way doesn't mean you have to leave it like that, right? You can, it depends on whether you're looking for a quick and easy project. You want to just have a pile of cards, or do you want to add a little something to all of the cards? Just because this is the starting point doesn't mean it has to be finished that way. Okay. So just gonna add this. Then it'll have a second to dry before I add my other stuff on there. Right, you could switch out the embellishments. There's a whole, just because, like I said, just because this is the starting point doesn't mean that that's where it necessarily has to finish. I'm just going to throw my ink pad on there for a second while that dries. And I'll put my cap on my liquid glass because you guys know I'm awful at that. Okay, so we've got our 2 butterflies. I'll move that yucky piece of cardstock out of the way. And I'm just going to add a little bit of Glacier. So I think I just grabbed, so I have Sapphire, Glacier, and Mulberry out. I went with like the lighter purple versus the grape. So I'm just adding a little bit of the Glacier in the background. So just to make that pop a little bit more. And I'm going to add here this flat onto its mat. And this was kind of fun one too, right? That they have added the sentiment on, like on, not square, right? It's this way, like a diamond. That's kind of a fun little thing for this workshop. Okay, so I'm going to do them like that. So let's get some 3D foam out, because everything needs some 3D foam, I think. So I think I have the little insides here. So I'm going to add this down flat. So I'm just lining it up right with my seam there. And I know that I want more room down here for the big butterfly. So I am also going to just curl him just a little bit to give him some dimension, and you could do it with your bone folder or a pencil for that matter. Just I find that the butterfly always looks a little cute if it's got a little movement to it. So I'm going to put some 3D foam behind her wings. Couldn't decide if it was going to be a boy or a girl butterfly. And I'll adhere it flat in the middle and just put the dimension on the side of the wings. Just like that. I'll add a little adhesive here in the middle, and then I'll push down in the middle so my butterfly is adhered flat in the middle, and it just kind of gives a little bit more dimension. You could totally still add these dots on here if you wanted. That's a little tiny stamp from the card making workshop. So like that. And then I'm going to do this one right there with thin 3D foam. So what is everybody's favorite color medium? So I actually was playing yesterday with, I haven't had them out in a while, but I was playing with my watercolor pencil crayons, or no, my watercolor paints yesterday. And it's been a while since I've done that. So there we go. We're going to add the same, because there's already embellishments right in the kit. I'm just going to use the embellishments that I have. So it came with silver glitter gems. So I'm going to add some of those. Just randomly. Just trying to decide. Maybe I should add a few dots on there. I think I will. So like I said, I picked mulberry because I thought it was just a little subtler with the color palette. So there's like 3 teeny tiny dots, not drops, that are always, sometimes I think normally there's always some sort of like sprinkle little stamp set in here just to be able to tuck in. So it kind of almost works just like your, whatever your embellishment is too, you can use it. There, that's cute. And I know that the grape looks super good with it too, with the Life's a Hoot. But like I said, I just wanted something a little bit subtler. Okay, and then my Pearson tool. You can also use this to roll your butterfly if you wanted. So I'm going to do one there and a little one. And another one right there. So then, see, 2 different cards with like very little effort, right? So, and it is a complete, like the pencil crayon watercolor is a very different look than the tri-blend, right? So like I said, I like to just play with different mediums all the time and see how something's gonna turn out. Okay, so then let's do card number 2. So this is the original and it says thinking of you. And so I grabbed out this one. So it's the exact same size. I didn't change anything. I just changed the sentiment. And so in Sapphire, I stamped sending you paper. And then in Glacier, I stamped hugs. And like I said, that's from that specialty stamp from Stamptacular, right? So you can order it by itself or there's like a little mini bundle that you can do. Okay, so let's pull out our pieces. So I have this little piece. This is a piece of white daisy that we're going to tear. And then we're going to tear that piece too. Here is our butterfly. Oh, and look, I have one that's already like shorter, so we'll grab that one. So then I just need this piece and then one more smaller purple one. Because there's 2 widths. So there we go. Okay, so we are going to rip this purple one first. Right like that. And then this one is ripped across here too. Just to add a little texture to the card. Okay, so did that. Let's grab our card base. So I'll just really quickly put it together and then I'll color. I have way too many butterflies here. You don't need that many. We only have one. And I would try to decide if I'm going to keep the little, so on here, there is a little trail to the butterfly. But because my sentiment is much larger, I just need to kind of have a visual of how the card is going to look. And then we'll decide if we're going to add that still. Okay. So this is my bottom piece. And I'm just going to cheat and do it like this. So 1/2 inch from the bottom. There we go. So I think we might put that little flight pattern of the butterfly on there. So there we go. Now the purple piece is 3/4 of an inch over. Just like that. See the fun little texture just by ripping the two little pieces of cardstock? Okay, so same thing. I'm going to adhere this piece down and then we're going to color butterfly again. And like I said, I'm just going to keep it simple and I'm going to keep the same colors because it's all the same, like same piece of decorative paper there. So I love the fact that like just by simply changing the medium that you're coloring something in, the difference that it makes to the card in the end. So this is just kind of this fun little squiggly across the top. So now I can just color this little guy in. You can even see here I was playing with my watercolor pencil crayons the other day too. So let's go. I'm going to color exactly kind of the same shades as I did with my pencil crayons. It even tells you on the guide like the colors of your pencil crayons to use. So it makes it like super easy. And you can, like, don't forget too, when you use your watercolor pencil crayons, you can use them with water or without water, right? And you get two different looks too. Or like I said, you can also use your clear shimmer brush and then get kind of like a third look with even your watercolor pencil crayons. And because these images are so small, I'm not doing like any shading or anything on them. You don't, just because they're alcohol markers and they have the ability to do that, you don't have to do it if you just want like some quick and easy coloring. So now I have the aqua blue. I think I'm going to go with the medium though. I think that's why I picked it. But you do have the ability, if you want to do more like coloring or shading, you can. So I also really liked this little highlight behind the sentiment, just to kind of draw your attention, because there's like a lot going on at the card. So it just reminds you that you are thinking of them. And who wouldn't want to get a paper hug, right? Instead of just like bills and tax stuff at this time of year. It's all that comes into my mailbox. Okay, so, or that's how I feel. There we go. So I think that'll be super cute on there. Oh, you're welcome, Lori. So again, I'll show you if I didn't have my bone folder around, you can just curl it with piercing tool or obviously a pencil, same kind of thing. So I think I'm going to snap the little trail. Oh, I need a mat. I forgot to grab one of the pieces. The grape cardstock. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to actually adhere these two pieces together and then decide, I'm going to lay it on the card and decide where I'm going to add this butterfly, because obviously the sentiment is a different size. So I think I'm going to do it there. And so I have a little stamp here. And I actually think I'm going to do this one with Glacier, so it's a little bit lighter behind my message there. So this one is with Sapphire, right? Because the message is lower and it's not in the way. I want this one to kind of just blend into the background and look like it's almost behind the message, like that. And then I think I'm going to add dots too, but with Sapphire this time. Just like that. My Sapphire ink I always have to close up because I always, no matter what, will end up with Sapphire ink on me. Okay, so now all I need to do is adhere this piece. Just like that. I'm going to add some 3D foam to my butterflies. Yes, like, so too, that's the other thing. Like, just because that's the stamp set or the theme of the card workshop doesn't mean you have to keep it that way. So you can use, right, if you didn't want them all to be, so this is happy birthday. If you didn't want, so you end up with 4, 8 happy birthdays. So say you don't want happy birthdays for people, right? You can just say, you can just change up the sentiment. You guys always have like tons of sentiments in your stash too, right? So it's easy to just remember. You don't have to create them exactly the same way the workshop is. Just because that's the, you could do it all the same. And then you don't forget, you could also just use the same pattern again with extra papers and a different stamp set. Like if you want more girl cards or more boy cards, just switch out the paper and the sentiment. So like that. There we go. So now I'll add the glitter gems. There we go. See, like minor changes, but it's a different card, right? Different sentiment, different message for somebody. Okay, I have one more. We'll just do the last one, which is like number 4. So this one, this is from that same stamp set. So this one just says, thinking of you. So it is right here at the top. The other thing, this is very interesting, is there like nice big sentiments on this stamp set. Sometimes when it's like just little tiny sentiments, sometimes it's hard to figure out how to fill up your whole card too. So that's one of the things I really liked about this stamp set, is they're like nice and big and a variety of things, right? Wishing you lots of love, a speedy recovery, a happy day. So you can mix and match because there's different fonts here too. So you could say wishing you a happy day, and then happy birthday. It's your day, all the best. And so you could also use this on the front of your card and like all the best on the inside, right? And then this one says, so there's also these 2 little ones, which I thought were super neat to add. So you could say, sending you paper hugs from far away. And you could put this on the inside or also on the front of your card too, right? Okay. So last one. The only thing I did was I stamped that first. So we need a little strip there. We have a square. We have a pattern piece. I probably should have pulled out these pieces before, and then it would have made this a little bit faster. Sorry. Okay, so then we have a piece of sapphire. Let's not forget the mat this time. I need a butterfly. Also, sometimes if I know like I'm going to use that butterfly lots more, I'll just, no different than making the coloring sheet, right? I'll fill up a sheet of butterflies and then cut them out all at the same time. Good morning. And then I just need the butterfly that sank way to the bottom. And the nice thing about doing all the stamping at the same time and then like leaving it is then like obviously it's not an issue when you're coloring with your watercolor pencil crayons because like yes, the ink has to dry, but it doesn't really matter how dry it is. I think I have all the pieces. Oh, this I need. But when you're using your tri-blends, right, you want to make sure that your ink is dry. Okay. And that's funny. I literally think I just grabbed enough card bases for the 3 cards out of the drawer. Okay, so there it is. Here is this. We'll assemble it really quickly and then I will color the little butterfly. So let's start here. Doing it this way too, right? You can, oh, sorry. You could, because obviously on different parts of this piece of paper, you're going to end up with different circles and different colors on your cards. So if you actually wait to color your butterflies, then you could color them more coordinated to however that piece of circles ends up coming out, right? Because you'll, on some cards, right, you can see here I have way more purples and this is more like the glacier color. So if I wanted to coordinate my butterfly or whatever image you're coloring, you could wait until you actually had the card ready to assemble in front of you. Or you can sit and color them all at the same time, right? So if I was going to do all of my butterflies and make the whole card workshop all at the same time, I would color like all 4 of the butterflies for the number 4 cards all at the same time. Because then I have those 4 pencil crayons out, right? I think we're going to go on the light side. Okay. There we go. So let me just see. I could actually open the directions, but there. But why read the directions when I could just wing it? I did read them one time. I always do try and assemble like one set the way that the directions read. But you guys all know I have a hard time following directions. So, okay, I'm going to add my mat. Okay, and then same thing. I'm going to adhere this down and then color my butterfly. I like to have one set at least that looks like it's supposed to look, and then I kind of wing it with all the rest. Sometimes though I will just sit down and make the whole set of them. It just kind of depends on how I'm feeling that day. So I just want this to be right across the top of the glacier. There we go. Just going to hold it down for 1 second. And then I'm going to trim it off from the back side. I totally lied. I trimmed it off from the front. And I just need to tuck a little time. I was trying to see if there was adhesive all the way across. And you can see I'm over the edge here, so I will trim that off on the other side. But I just need my glue to dry. So if you flip it over, it's the same as like when I do a scrapbooking page, right? I'll always flip it over to the back side because you can way easier see. I've got to get back to work. Yes, don't we all? But thanks for popping on. Okay, so now I'm going to add this one. And same thing, I'm going to add the dots on here too. But I'm going to do them with the glacier, just like in the current example. Just like that. There we go. Now, so this is going to go here and this is going to go down here. So we'll stop for a second and color this butterfly because it's so tiny. It will not take lots of coloring, but like I said, I'm going to do it exactly the same color scheme as the original. I think I tried to keep close to what they did, but that doesn't mean necessarily that that is actually what I did. There we go. And if you're looking for a medium that's super forgiving, watercolor pencil crayons are super forgiving, and really you can do kind of whatever you want with them, and there's really no going wrong, right? So that is why I always like when they do like a watercolor pencil, because they're not a huge investment. They're just like, it's a small set, right? Everybody's comfortable with coloring with a pencil, right? So it's not like out of some people's comfort zone, like necessarily like coloring with tri-blends. So pale pink shades. There we go. Okay, so don't forget, I will come back, and anybody that commented sheet, I'll add that link back in here so that you can get the download and start your own chart for coloring. It's very handy. And like I said, I actually will redo it every once in a while because mine is like literally I use it all the time. But I do find keeping it in like my plastic protector is very helpful. So there we go. And then this butterfly is too small. I don't think I'm going to curl her, but I am going to pop her up on 3D foam. Just like that. Everything's very staticky. The little backing didn't want to come off. There we go. No, I think. So this is why you don't push anything down too hard, because I did not. And I can just move it over just a touch. I just want it coming off the end of the little of there. There we go. Okay, so I just need to add the glitter gem. So hopefully you guys found this helpful. And like I said, if you want the sheet, make sure to comment sheet and I will come back right away and add those in. But I'll just quickly go backwards through the cards that we did. And so these are the 3 colors that I did use to coordinate with Life's a Hoot. True Blue Shades, Pink Violet Blend, Aqua Blue Blend, and Pale Pink Shades. And because they're organized in exactly the same way as my coloring sheet, I can super easily put them back in my trays where they belong. And then I know where they are and next time I want to color. So here we go. So this was card number 4 of the workshop. And then this is 2, and we swapped out like all the sentiments, changed the coloring. And then this is the first one from the Life's a Hoot card making workshop with the Paper Hugs stamp set from the Stamptacular. So I hope you guys all have a great day and you found that helpful. And like I said, if you need the sheet, if you didn't grab it last week, just make sure to comment sheet, or you can jump on. The link is in the description of the video if that is easier for you. So that's all I've got for you guys today, and I hope you have an awesome Thursday. Talk to you later, guys. Bye-bye.